Pat, happy Thursday.
Hey, Rick, how you doing, buddy?
It's good to be in front of the camera. Last week, you guys were presenting, and what people don't know is I was in the background driving the bus. I was the one moving the charts back and forth, but I still didn't have a voice after my surgery. I was like, I would have been on going, okay, here's this chart, and
Well, it's good to see you're back in the saddle.
yeah, it was kind of interesting to follow along with your conversations and figure out where you were going, and then read the chart. So I was like,
Well,
this kind
especially when I talk.
of reminded me. I worked in a radio station. I used to do the Seattle Seahawks games, and it was in a small town. And you were given a script, and you were supposed to put local commercials on when they said certain things, and network commercials on. So you had to listen to the game, and you had to listen for something like "There's timeout on the field," and then you looked at your clipboard and go, "Okay, timeout on the field. That's a local commercial cartridge number one." It was all 8 tracks. So you already had the 8 track in. So you would um, turn off network, keep on local, and hit the 8 track. And then you couldn't get back on until they stopped with their local commercials. Now, if it was a network commercial, you didn't have to do anything. You just listened to it. By the time the game was over, I was exhausted. I couldn't even tell you who played or who won.
Well, that's
my $4.25 an hour for this, but it was kind of fun. So anyway, let's get the real estate here. I'm going to start. We're going to talk about some of the myths that are out there that Tina Tambour with the Cromford report put together. And, we're going to kind of hash what we think is a big deal, not a big deal, whether we believe it, don't believe it. Just thought it'd be a fun conversation.
give our opinion, our 2 cents worth.
Yes, and it'll be worth about 2 cents.
Yeah.
And but this is 2 years of appreciation, 2-year change in annual dollar per square foot closed listings. Look at Paradise Valley. It's gone up 33.5%. That's the winner. The loser is Arizona City, down minus 1.2%, followed by Tonopah.
So that's over 2 year. That's basically a cumulative 2-year increase.
Yep. So if you bought in Anthem 2 years ago, your value is now 9.8% higher than it was 2 years ago. Safe guide. Now you got to look at this year and go, well, how are we trending this year? Are we trending up, down, flat? Keep that in consideration when you're pricing your home. Because I'm seeing a lot of people that bought in 2023 or 2022 that are kind of shooting too high when they're pricing. This should help you, something like this. Look at Chandler, up 8.8, right next to Gilbert at 8.3 and Waddell at 8.6. The one that I pointed out to you before I went live that surprised me is when you look at Sun Lakes, a retirement community over 55, they're up 6.3% for the past 2 years. But you go further down to Sun City and Sun City West, they're not having the same party. They're only up 3.1 and 2.3. And I'm not sure why. Maybe Sun Lakes just has more to offer than those two areas, or, they're nicer homes. I can't say that. So,
yeah, I think, my personal opinion is I think Sun Lakes and it was Sun Lakes and what was the other one?
Sun City and Sun City West.
But Sun Lakes, those and Gold Canyon, from my perspective, I think they're just a little bit more dynamic, retirement areas. God loves Sun City, but there's not a lot going on past 6 o'clock at night out there.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Thanks, Sid. Well, Sun Lakes, they got a Burger King down there and a True Value hardware store that closes at 6. Everything closes at 6. But let's get to some of the myths that are out there. We're going to go in order of what Cromford said. And here's the myth number 1. Buyer demand is declining. Now, that I agree with, because when you look at my 7-day moving average, I'll share it here with you. It's a bit of a mess because I had those 2 weeks off. So it's like, but the black line is contracts. Now, it's been relatively flat for the entire year, went down during the holiday season, and now it's higher. So buyer demand is not declining. And if you look at sales per month, we are right slightly above where we were the past 2 years. Now, are we at some amazing record lows for buyer demand? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it continuing to decline? No. I guess you can only go down so far, right?
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I was out meeting with some realtors who actually went to a spring training game. I don't like to get out of the office during the week because you never know what happens. But I was hanging around about 8 or 9, 10 realtors, and they were all, complaining, for lack of a better term, about how their listings are sitting a lot longer. They're not. It was kind of like a small sample group, but it just kind of seems like that's the overall. There's buyers out there, but
Yeah.
I mean, but it seems like, a little bit of a standstill, kind of sitting out there in the weeds yet once again.
Well, did a little survey on the channel and on my community tab. And basically, I asked 3 questions. I said, if you listed your home for sale, which answer best describes your situation? 1, I have an urgent need to sell. 2, I'd like to capture my equity, but I don't necessarily need to sell. Or 3, I'm trying to sell this year, but I'm willing to wait. Only 25% say they have an urgent need to sell. 46% said, I'd like to capture my equity, but I don't need to. And almost a third say, I'm trying this year. If I don't get my price, I'm going to take it off the market. I thought that was kind of interesting. Here's myth number 2. There is very little to buy under 300,000. Now, I'm kind of on the fence on this one. And what they're saying here was, in the commentary, this was true 2 years ago, but not today. In February 2022, there were only 90 single-family active listings for sale under 300,000 in Maricopa and Pinal County. Today, there are 534. True, that's up, but mostly in Pinal County. Condos and townhome inventory is even more abundant by comparison. In March 2022, there were only 156 active condo listings, while today there are more than 1,200, most in Maricopa County. And when I look at the actual chart here, here's all listings under $300,000, 1,148. If I just take out mobile and single family and just focus on condos, we certainly don't have 21,000. Let me get rid of that. Sometimes when you refresh these pages, you never know what's going to show up. So I'm going to go 250 to 300 and below. And what do we get? 1,298, considerably higher than what we had last year of 708. So condos are ruling the world as far as under $300,000. That's kind of to be expected.
Does that include condos or no? Is that just single family residence?
Just condos.
Well, that's condos, yeah.
If I put in single family residence under 300 and I take out condos, the number's higher, 505, and compared to 319. So it's probably a very high percentage jump, but not anything to,
What can you get for, honestly, what can you really get for 300 though? Honestly.
Not much. Myth number 3, Pat. My income is too high to qualify for any homebuyer assistance programs. What do you say about that?
I wouldn't say any homebuyer assistance programs, but for the most part, that's probably not a myth. I mean, it's they do have area median, they call them AMI, area median income caps. It depends on a family of 3, family of 4, family of 5. It goes up, but it's around. I just say for a family of 4, it's around 88,000, give or take. There's different 86, 88,000. It goes by how many family members you have, but there are a few that don't have any income limitations. The home ready assistance, that one I was kind of talking about last couple months, they came out recently and said if your income is under 100% of the AMI, there's different numbers, but basically you get less money, because they were offering a Home Ready First program. That one lender, Provident, was offering, I think they're offering us $7,000 still, or $6,500 cash, and then $500 for appraisal and $500 for the inspection. But those have got income limitations now too. Before about 6-7 months ago, they didn't have no income limits whatsoever, but they recently changed that. as of a couple weeks ago. So they, all these programs are different. There's different programs in counties, and every county's got different area median income. So you really kind of dive in and check, per area.
Miranda here says my microphone's crackling about every 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, it's crackling for some reason. I know it's kind of
Is it still doing it now?
About every 25 or 30 seconds for some reason. It kind of got that.
I closed just about every browser I could. Unfortunately, nothing I can do. I'll just try to talk less.
Yeah, I know it's annoying. Sorry about that, guys.
Got approved for $350,000 by Arizona One, looking to buy ideally 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 4-bedroom or 3-bedroom with due in Chandler. Can you talk if it makes sense to wait or make offers at 350 and see? Offers at 350 in that size of home in Chandler, I think you're not going to get a lot of success, Sid, but reach out to me at rick@rickhelps.com and we'll take a look and see what we can pull up for you. And again, I hope I'm not crackling too bad.
Yeah, it's for every 20 or 30 seconds. It is kind of, I agree with Miranda. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but
yeah. Oh, I hate it. If you live by the tech, you die by it.
You don't hear it on your end?
No.
Oh. So anyway.
This one here says.
Myth number 4.
Yeah, I clicked on something wrong here. Let me get this out and get this. Cancel. I got a little click happy there. Read that for me, Pat.
I need to be a first-time home buyer or renter to qualify for home buyer assistance programs. Some you don't, some you do. A first-time home buyer program basically means, if you bought a home 4 years ago, if the last time you owned a home was 4 years ago, you're still considered a first-time home buyer. So, in terms of do we have another? I don't know the down payment assistance programs in general. They help, but the thing of it is that your rate is going to be they make the money somehow. There's not much money that's ever free. Like I said, the Home Ready First program that I was kind of talking about, that is actually free money. Down payment assistance typically will have a higher rate, 3/8 to half a point, maybe even a little higher. And their fees are, they actually have added fees, a $1,500 administrative fee. And by the time you all add it up, sometimes you need to get at least assistance from the seller of at least, 2 points or more to try to help make the down payment assistance program work in cases. Like I said, their rate, you're not going to get the prevailing conventional rate, that you see going across, your screen. It's going to be higher. So you give up something to get something. So it's a balance act. Like I said, what I try to do is tell people, if you can try to find monies elsewhere, that's the best approach.
Myth number 5, mortgage rates are too high. Nothing you can do about it.
There's something you could, quite frankly, are they, too high right now? Just to go back. Maybe we'll talk to my charts after we get done with this, but you can still do a 2-1 buy down. You can do a permanent buy down. I'll go into the buy down when we get back to rates, maybe after this myth busting session. But rates right now are mid 6s. So you could do a permanent buy down. You could do a temporary buy down. So there can be some stuff to be done with it.
Myth number 6. Housing is in a bubble and home prices are on the precipice of a crash, and that has been verified. Newsflash, Reventure Consulting announced a housing market crash.
Yeah. So I guess we are going to be, he's been right.
Been right. Yeah. I want to read their comment. If I'm crackling, Pat, tell me. One could argue that Greater Phoenix already had a bubble. The price crash in 2022 when prices rose to their peak and went down a whopping 12%. Most of that was iBuyers. So they're saying, well, we did hit a peak and then we came down and now we're going back up. I don't see anything that says that we're on a precipice of a crash. I look just like everybody else, but I don't. It has to jump out in inventory like the video they called the gap. The gap between number of homes on the market and number of buyers has to expand greatly. Last time things got really bad, we had 57,500 listings. Today we have 23,000. So that has to change. And as we already showed earlier, while transactions are way down, they don't seem to be declining any further.
No, there is a general malaise. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. There seems like there is the psychology is a general malaise in the market to a certain degree. But once again, do you want this market or do you want 2021, where people are, bidding $30,000-$40,000 over the asking price? And that's, quite frankly, I mean, rates are getting back down. I mean, very quietly, if you want to go back, you want to go to my rates real quick. We jump. I mean, right now, the 5.5% coupons at 117. This is prices. So prices have gone up, rates have gone down. I mean, you can see this is a 10-year Treasury hit 477. We're at 426. We're down a half a point. Rates have quietly come down from. I mean, we were sitting at back about a month and a half, month and a half ago. We were sitting at 7 1/8 was a cost of about $1,200. Now you get a credit of $3,300 to $4,500 to put at 7 1/8. So they've gone from about 7 1/8 down to now you get today's rate with a buy down of $1,100 or just a discount of $1,100, 6.5. So they've gone down 5/8 of a point rather quietly. Yeah, I mean, you haven't heard a lot of news. I mean, I don't know, maybe people have. I mean, the rates have come down, but it's not like the Feds did anything.
Yeah, it's just, well, I think there was a lot of anxiety. The tariffs are going to kill us. Inflation is going to be really bad. And they're sitting back going, well, maybe inflation is not going to be that bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, people were talking about what the Feds are going to do, but I think, rates, like I said, they've settled down very quietly about 1/2 to 5/8 of a point from the recent highs, which is a good sign. I mean, I think we really, I try to keep an eye on the 10-year Treasury bond. I mean, basically, no matter what the Fed is doing or not doing, because I mean, the market, the 10-year Treasury will kind of give you clues as far as to what is out there. What is it telling us? If the Treasury was heading through the roof, yeah, there's signs of down the road, but maybe what this market's telling us is like, okay, it's not as bad as we think it is. Because I just think the 10-year Treasury, you just got to keep an eye on. That's your bellwether. What the Feds do, like I said, look at what the Feds did back in September. They lowered rates and rates went through, what they had their little screaming time in September, October. So
found one in 85201, started at 499, reduced 489. I've established a basis to do buy at 400, 6-bed, 4-bath, 2,800 square feet. So you're waiting for them to go from 489 to 400. They're probably going to pull it. I don't know where the house is or what. And David said, a dog will sit on the market. That gets us to myth number 7, Pat. What does that one say?
I'll sell my home as is and price it aggressively with buyer incentives.
So I'll give you the money, but I'm not fixing anything. Will that work in today's market? Because that's the myth. The myth is if I contribute $10,000 to closing costs, don't come to me asking for any repairs.
Yeah. No.
And that's what we're seeing. So now in 2022, buyers were kind of like, okay, I'll do that. Now it's changed. Everyone's offering low prices and buyer incentives. Properties in good condition will rise to the top because everybody's offering concessions.
Yeah.
And the house has to be in good condition and it will go above the as is home. So you can't get away with that now. So I believe in that as a myth.
Yeah. That's definitely.
Have another comment. Rates have inverted. The Fed seems to be concerned about a recession. It could be. I mean, we're seeing some softening in the market out there, Pat. but we didn't hear we're in recession for 2 years now, so it's a wait and see.
Yeah.
Rates inverted before, right?
Yep. I mean, it is a sign, it's it kind of is a signal. No doubt about that. But I think there's going to be a lot of wait. And I mean, there's still a lot of confusion in this market because the administration, with these tariffs, what's going to happen with these tariffs, and it's not as smooth sailing as I wish it was.
I had a question about federal jobs in Arizona, and I looked it up. We have less than 1% of our job totals, Phoenix market, that are federal employees. So if they cut 15% of that workforce, you're not even going to see it. Like you said earlier, that's equivalent to one Walmart closing.
Yeah. One or two. Yeah.
One or two. It's not going to have an impact.
I think there's going to be, there's a lot of question marks. I mean, going back to Debbie's comment too, as far as her house has been, talked to her and houses I've been watching for what do you think?
Well, I don't know the house. I really don't know.
I've seen it's a beautiful home. I tell you, if anybody wants up in the Northwest, Peoria area, that's maybe TSMC employees looking by, it's a beautiful home. I mean, it's priced right. I mean, she's right there. There's no reason why she should reduce it. I mean, it's just been the market. I think you got a gorgeous backyard. I mean, I'm just guessing, but that backyard's $150,000 backyard, putting green and whatnot. It's a gorgeous home. So anybody's out looking in Peoria, I would definitely advise them to look at that.
Yeah, reach out to Pat. He can send you the listing. Send you one.
Well, I did. I sent her the profile. But it's
no. I mean any potential buyers. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Rick, good name. Say it twice. Builder asked how I came my lower price offer. I said comps in their development found on Zillow. Was that a good move? Any conversation's a good move. I'll just say that. Give them your offer, discuss it, see where you can pull them down. If they're not budging, walk away, come back later.
Yeah. They
may not move. And then they might have to in a couple of months. It all depends on their inventory. I've been in those situations. Well, I'm offering them this. Well, it's not going to fly, but we can write it. So, just stay in there and keep trying. I know we beat down Open Door for 6 months one time, Pat?
I think you're looking more at like 8 or 9 months. I think it was. I definitely tell you one thing.
Okay, we'll be back.
Yeah, you were masterful at that negotiation. The client was, because he had 4 or 5 other agents who were like, "Yeah, they'll never accept that price," and you're like, "Let's try it," and your strategy worked.
It took a long time.
We waited them out,
You have to be patient. Look, if you want builders lower the price, they're not just lowering the price on the house you want. That means they're going to lower the price on all of them.
Yeah.
Base price is very carefully guarded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they want to do that. The average list price we have for square foot now recently is finally starting to flatten out, Pat. Average list price, which is good. It's lower than last year than it needs to be. It's not tanking, but we'll watch this carefully and see what happens. So I think it's going to be, I haven't seen a year like this. We haven't seen the past 5 years like this.
No, it's been one roller coaster. I mean, we were on a roller coaster there, 2021, 22. Now it just seems like we're on this flat roller coaster going through the plains. Just kind of like somebody's waiting for a dip somewhere and it's not happening. And I know people want to make I know yours and my goal is to help people make a solid, good decision with what they're doing. That's my goal, is to try to give people enough information. I know you and I both don't have a motive. We're just trying to give good information for what we see out there. But people are waiting for something like the crash or something like that. Once again, we don't see it. I mean, rates are stuck in this range. They've kind of floated back down. As I said on a buy down, with the 10,000, I didn't put on those rates. I didn't allude on it a couple minutes earlier, but with the average seller concession, is around $10,000 on that chart that I had up earlier. For $10,000, you can get 5.87, 5.875 on a permanent buy down. I mean, that's, now we're talking, I mean, rates have slowly slid down about 1/2 to 5/8 of a point here recently, which is good. I mean, will they see what happens with the, PCE numbers are coming out tomorrow. This market's been, obviously data driven week by week by week. But I think in general, just stepping back from the whole picture, things are just going to be more of the same. And if you can catch, rates are a little bit lower, like I said, 5.875 is not, we're not talking 7.25, 7.5 right now. Like I said, if you get that seller concession of $10,000, and if you use the $10,000 on a 2-1 buy down, I mean, you're looking at 4.5 for a year. So,
yeah, I'm glad to see there's been some movement. We're way off when it comes to affordability, but we're slowly getting ourselves there. Renee, thank you for the well wishes. Happy and healthy again. Let everybody know I had an appointment with my doctor yesterday. I had renal cell carcinoma, which is cancer, a tumor on the kidney, and they got it all. They cut it out, and there's nothing in the margins. And so as far as the kidney is concerned, I am cancer free. Now I just need to get my energy back.
No kidding.
But I got Pat, Jackie, Ruby, Jessica stepping up to the plate, and we've been pretty active. Talk to you guys 1-2 times a day. So, things are going well. I can't complain. So, well, Pat, thanks for joining me. And I apologize to everybody for the crackling.
Yeah.
John Doe says everything's hanging in the balance. Real estate in an affordable realm's hanging on by a thread. It doesn't change quickly. And thank you, Mark, and thank you, David. So I'm on the mend. I want to try and get out to a spring training game. I'm not ready for that yet, but I'm going to get there. So
yeah.
Anyway, Pat, thank you. Have a good one
Yep.
and a fantastic weekend, huh?
All right. You take care, everybody. Millions of viewers. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Millions.